Chapter 1044 changed everything. Luffy awakens, and it is revealed that his gum fruit is actually a mythical Zoan modeled after the sun god Nika. It is said that it's the most ridiculous ability in the world, and now that we've seen Luffy actually use his awakening, aka Gear 5, in a number of fights, it's hard to imagine that we can get much higher. What do you think? Is Gear 5 the ceiling, or is there still another level out there? Just how high is Luffy's ceiling going to go? Now, I'll be real with you guys. In chapter 1044, Luffy said something interesting when he named his awakening Gear 5. He said that this is my peak, which basically rules out the possibility that there's going to be another gear after this one. Yep, no Gear 6, no Gear Death, no Gear Nightmare, nothing. Luffy has awakened his fruit, and he himself has called the awakening his peak, which means that the next power-up won't be about his fruit. But this is where we run into a wall. Luffy already has mastery on not just the 3 forms of Haki, but also on their advanced versions. He has Future Sight, he has Ryu, he has Advanced Conqueror's Haki, he basically has everything. Also, don't forget the voice of all things. Yeah, the only thing that Luffy lacks in the traditional sense is a weapon, but we already know he doesn't need one. A weapon would actually restrict him in battle considering his current set of abilities and fighting style. No, it can't be a weapon like Zoro, and it definitely can't be some sort of generic augmentation awakening like Sanji. The thing about Wano is that it kind of blew things out of proportion. In the span of just one fight, Luffy received the 2 most overpowered power-ups one can possibly get, Advanced Conqueror's Haki and Awakening, and he received these power-ups while fighting against the alleged strongest in the world. But it's understandable, right? He needed these. Otherwise, it would be impossible to defeat Kaido. However, it also kind of takes away from the future fights, doesn't it? He has already fought and defeated the strongest, and he also already received the 2 greatest power-ups anyone can get in the series. You see, ever since the time skip, Luffy has always unlocked something fresh every time he fought a serious challenge. Against Doflamingo, it was the reveal of Gear 4. Against Cracker, it was the Tank Man. And against Katakuri, it was both the Snake Man and Future Sight. Then of course, against Kaido, it was the Awakening and Advanced Conqueror's Haki. But the story hasn't ended yet. Luffy still has a few fights left, and considering how shonen storytelling works, they are definitely going to be greater threats than Kaido. We're talking about Blackbeard and Akainu, but you can also add Emu and the 5 Elders as well. I guess Shanks too, if you will, but are they stronger than Kaido? It's debatable, but you bet they are going to be bigger threats when Luffy gets to them, because that's just how basic storytelling works. Take Akainu for example. Logic and narrative says that he is not as strong as Kaido, but let's not forget that it was ultimately Magma that killed Kaido and Big Mom. Not to mention, Akainu did impressively well against Whitebeard. Yup, even if Luffy now has Gear 5, that Magma sounds like trouble. Then you have Blackbeard. Not only is he going to get a 3rd fruit, the fruits that he already has are basically direct nemeses of Luffy's fruit. Darkness is a foil to Luffy's sun god Nika fruit, and then there's the idea that the only way to keep the Quake fruit from destroying things is by turning them into rubber, which is where Luffy comes in. And you can bet that his 3rd fruit is going to be something equally special, if not more. Blackbeard is the guy making the devil fruits great again after all. Alright, now let's finally answer the question. What could be Luffy's new power-up after Gear 5? As far as his fruit is concerned, he's going to keep getting more proficient at using his awakening, as we saw from his fight against Lucci and then against Kizaru. But what about Haki? This is where I believe Luffy has not yet reached his full potential, and the one who is going to show him the way is Shanks. Now, this does not have to be literal. It can even be symbolic or just metaphorical, in the sense that after Luffy proves himself to Shanks by fulfilling the promise, he'll naturally experience another Haki boost. That's how Haki works after all. Though, if we're talking literally, he can get a lesson or 2 on Haki, maybe discover that there are actually more than one advanced variants of every type of Haki. There are so many theories and memes about how we still don't know the full extent of Haki and how Shanks is going to reveal the full picture, so I guess let's just wait and see. For now, Luffy has absolutely nailed every single metric. He is barely even 20 and look at what he did to Kaido. And one more thing guys, Keep in mind that the best fight of the series has not happened yet. Luffy versus Blackbeard is going to surpass everything, and I'm pretty sure that Luffy versus Akainu won't be that far behind either. Well, both of them did some pretty awful stuff to Luffy, so let's wait and see. Overall, what do you guys think? Will Luffy get another power-up? Let's continue this down in the comments below. As always, a like and subscribe would be much appreciated. With that said, I'll see y'all in the next video.